50 years after hard economics tore them from the timetable, regular passenger trains have reappeared on the Wensleydale Railway. Is the line a beacon of hope for the rest of the rural network? Can local enterprise really succeed where a national monolith failed? What does the future hold for the missing link? There's no shortage of nostalgic wishful thinking when it comes to reopening railways. What's usually lacking is a business case. Despite a £60 billion investment programme, the UK is getting very little new railway for its money. According to conventional wisdom, it's simply too expensive. Which is why the line down Wensleydale is both remarkable and unique. The 40-mile link between Northallerton on the East Coast Main Line and Garsdale on the Settle Carlisle was completed in 1878, but the passenger service was consigned to history during the closures of the 1950s, and 18 miles of track bit the dust in 1965. Until recently, the remaining 22 miles only welcomed sporadic freight trains, but in 2003, the Wensleydale Railway plc acquired a 99-year lease on the line, and it's now the only part of the mainline network with a train service run by the same company which looks after the infrastructure.
Well, it's certainly brought an increase in tourists, and most of the businesses have benefited. Can't think anybody who hasn't, actually. People have come from absolutely all over the place. I mean, Leeming Bar is not the sort of most attractive place to be, but it's improving. And I think once you get on the train at Leeming Bar and you come up and you see the valley, then it's fantastic, because there are so many parts of the countryside that you've never seen before.
There'll be even more revelation if 21st century navvies begin to relay history down the Dale. But rebuilding 18 miles of railway would be a mammoth and unprecedented project, one which would tax both the budget and skills of the major rail companies. Bridges have been removed, and much of the trackbed, although intact, has been sold off to adjacent landowners. It would, however, mean a new lease of life for Aysgarth Station, which is already in the hands of the railway. Back in 1881, the station provided gainful employment to a staff of 8. Today, the station buildings occasionally play host to holidaymakers, but the platforms haven't seen regular business since the 50s. Back then, the line was making annual losses of more than £14,000. The closure proposal was greeted by the inevitable storm of protest, but on Saturday, the 24th of April 1954, the last return service headed from Northallerton to Garsdale and back again. Adding to the already funereal gloom, the Vicar of Redmire supplied a wreath, placed ceremonially on the funnel of the locomotive by fireman Derek Appleton. Mourners were in plentiful supply.
It was hilarious, really. I couldn't believe it. It was cram jam full. That come out of the woodwork. But every station was the same. And train was full, plenty of beer on the train. The chap presented us with a couple of crates of beer on the footplate, me and Ronnie May. I said, "What's that?" He said, "Beer." I said, "Get the stuff taken away, you got us a sack."
Derek was offered a transfer to Blythe, but opted out. 50 others had no choice. The passenger service between Hawes and Garsdale at the western end of the line survived for another 5 years. Trains still pause at this bleak outpost on the Settle Carlisle, but nearby Mossdale Tunnel now shelters a collection of farm machinery, whilst the 5 arches of Apperset Viaduct have been reclaimed by a different Wensleydale branch.
Who was your driver on your last train?
Ronnie May.
Oh, Ronnie.
Ronnie May.
I remember Ronnie.
George's dad was the guard.
Oh, George.
George,
yes.
Yeah, and unfortunately, both passed away.
Oh, yes. Well,
The distant prospect of reopening also rekindles fond memories for Derek's former colleague, Brian Croser, also a fireman.
It all floods back again, you know. This was, to my mind, was the best. It had something different. And there was nothing nicer, you know, than leaving Northallerton at 7:20 on a morning, coming up here in a summer morning. It was beautiful. Hares running, even on the track, you know, the old plate layer would get him and say, hey, I got him, you know.
The railway clearly mattered. It played an important role in community life, and those who worked on it took pride in serving the Dale.
Everybody knew everybody.
Yeah.
Old Ness Hartley used to be signalman at Laban.
He did.
When he wasn't doing anything, he'd be sat knitting socks or pullover. Yeah, he'd knit socks to order, didn't Ness? But there was pride. There was pride in the job then, you know. Everybody cared. It wasn't a care of, oh, it'll do. Well, it wouldn't do. It had to be, right. I mean, the farmers all used to wave, even though maybe across the field. Oh, come out and wave at you. And of course, any big lumps of coal, as you remember, Brian, them time, we'll save that while we get to the next plate layer's cabin, kick it off, and then he had a fire when he wanted one. Believe in breaking them up, he just chucked them up.
Gatehouses and plate layers cabins, particularly I used to
all
just
the big lumps.
knock them off.
Get off.
Steady down, driver, you know, just go easy, I'm just going.
Drivers varied, some were good, and others were rough. I mean, Jack Anderson, for one, he was all hell. Yeah, well, as long as sparks were coming out at chimney, we were flying. And then get another bloke like Kit Megison, nice and gentle. And still got there, same time, same thing, but just different methods. I mean, if you had a D20, well, when you got further down that long curve, Jack Anderson, he was off like hell. And as many times I thought we'll end up in the field.
They never did, of course. And today's passengers needn't worry, the driving is rather more sedate. But the new Wensleydale Railway does hope to revive those traditional values, encouraging a culture in which quality counts and providing a service of value to the community.
It's about bringing places closer together. That's the reality. You know, if you live in Hawes at the minute and you don't have a car, or there's only one car in the family and that's gone out, you're 2 hours from Northallerton, nearly as far as London is from Northallerton by train. The effect of the railway is just to bring people closer together. It shortens those journey times. It means access to services, access to jobs is much easier, and it'll make a huge difference to the way of life of the Dale without the downsides.
I think they're doing a very good job on this line. Hope they are very successful.
It's supposed to be for the community, so, but it's getting there. I mean, it's got a good start. I think the shop's open and the cafe's open, so it's getting there. Yeah. The further they go, the better.
I can't see them failing, because I mean, you can see it's a fantastic railway set up already. It seems to be doing well, and I think once they've opened up further in and attached to Northallerton, it's just going to rocket, I think.
What we need at Northallerton is a platform for people to get off and on.
A 22-mile branch line can't offer remedies to all the ills of the railway. The line is low risk in safety terms and strategically unimportant. There aren't queues of companies clamouring for access. But the network's one-size-fits-all formula to management and operations disadvantages the least attractive lines.
Hello, little rabbit.
Even within its current limitations, the Wensleydale shows that rural railways can be viable if they respond to the needs of their customers and common sense is liberally applied.
In terms of franchise, in terms of rail operators, it's not about, you know, who operates them. It's not about, you know, the politics of it. It's about what they actually give to the communities they serve, and it's all about the passenger.